The holographic message materialized above every major city on Earth simultaneously. The Zitharan Imperium's ultimatum hung in the air like a death sentence, translated into every human language with cold precision. Primitive species of Sol 3. You have 72 of your hours to surrender unconditionally. Failure to comply will result in planetary sterilization. This is your only warning. Comply or face extinction. In the command center of Earth's United Defense Coalition in Geneva, Commander Orla Chen stared at the projection with her arms crossed, her dark eyes flickering with something between amusement and irritation. Around her, diplomats and military officials erupted into panic. We need to respond immediately. Draft a diplomatic overture. Perhaps we can negotiate. Shut up, Orla said quietly, but her voice cut through the chaos like a blade. The room fell silent. She turned to the young communications officer seated at the console behind her. James, pull up everything we have on the Zitharans. Lieutenant James Okoye's fingers flew across the haptic interface. Ma'am, they're a Type 2 civilization on the Kardashev scale. They've conquered 47 star systems. Technologically, they're approximately 2 centuries ahead of us. Their fleet is— I didn't ask for their resume, Orla interrupted. I asked what we have on them. Combat doctrine, psychology, weaknesses. James hesitated, then pulled up a different file. Intelligence suggests they're risk-averse. They've never faced significant resistance. Every species they've encountered either surrendered immediately or was obliterated within weeks. They're predictable, ma'am, formulaic. A thin smile crossed Orla's face. So they're bullies who've never been punched back. That's one way to put it, James said, unable to suppress his own grin. The French ambassador stepped forward, his face flushed. Commander Chen, with respect, we're talking about the survival of our species. We can't afford bravado. We should at least appear to consider their demands. Orla turned to face him, and something in her expression made the diplomat step back. Ambassador, my grandfather was a fisherman in Taiwan. When a typhoon was coming, you know what he did? He didn't beg the storm for mercy. He tied down his boat, reinforced his house, and rode it out. Sometimes the best response to a threat isn't submission, it's defiance. This isn't a typhoon, the ambassador protested. This is an interstellar empire. Same difference, Orla said dismissively. She turned back to James. Draft a response. Keep it simple. James raised an eyebrow. What should it say, ma'am? Orla's smile widened into something wolfish. Just send them a laughing emoji. The one that's crying. You know the one. The room exploded into protests, but Orla raised her hand for silence. Listen to me, all of you. We've spent the last 50 years preparing for first contact. We built the railgun network. We militarized our asteroid belt. We have fusion warheads hidden in every major satellite around Jupiter. We've been mining helium-3 from Luna and building warships in orbital docks that these Zitharans probably don't even know exist. She pointed at the holographic display, showing the Zitharan fleet, a massive armada of sleek, crystalline vessels arranged in perfect formation. Look at them. They're so confident they're not even spreading their fleet. They're clustered together like fish in a barrel. They think we're going to roll over and cry. They think we're just another primitive species too scared to fight back. Because we should be scared, someone shouted. Maybe, Orla conceded. But fear and surrender aren't the same thing. James, send the emoji. James looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. His fingers moved across the console, and with a single keystroke, humanity's response to the Zitharan ultimatum was transmitted across the stars. Within 6 hours, the Zitharan fleet began moving toward Earth. Within 12 hours, they entered the outer solar system. Within 18 hours, they crossed the orbit of Neptune. And then humanity showed them what it meant to laugh in the face of death. The asteroid belt moved. Hundreds of rocks that the Zitharans had dismissed as natural debris suddenly fired thrusters, revealing themselves as camouflaged weapons platforms. Railguns accelerated tungsten projectiles to relativistic speeds. The Zitharan shields, designed to deflect energy weapons, shattered like glass against kinetic impactors traveling at percentages of light speed. The trap closed around Jupiter, where humanity's main fleet had been waiting. Ships that had been disguised as mining stations dropped their camouflage and opened fire. Fusion missiles detonated in brilliant, silent flowers of destruction. In the command center, Orla watched the tactical display with cold satisfaction. The Zitharan formation was breaking apart, their ships scattering in confusion. They'd never fought an enemy that refused to be intimidated. They'd never faced a species insane enough to weaponize their own solar system. "They're trying to retreat," James reported, his voice tight with tension. "Should we let them go?" Orla considered for a moment, then shook her head. "No, they came here to teach us a lesson about power. It's only fair we return the favor. Full pursuit. I want every ship that entered our solar system to stay here permanently, as wreckage." The battle lasted another 6 hours. When it was over, the Zitharan Imperium had lost 30% of their invasion fleet. The survivors limped away toward the outer reaches of space, their crystalline hulls scarred and burning. In the aftermath, as the command center erupted in cheers and tears of relief, James approached Orla with a new message on his tablet. "Ma'am, we're receiving transmissions from other species. They've been monitoring the battle. They want to know if we're accepting allies." Orla leaned back in her chair, exhausted but triumphant. "Tell them we'll consider it. But make sure they understand something first." "What's that, ma'am?" "Humanity doesn't kneel. Not to storms, not to empires, not to anyone. They want to be our allies. They'd better be ready to stand with us, not behind us." James smiled and began typing the response. As he did, Orla looked up at the holographic display of Earth, spinning peacefully in the void, and allowed herself a moment of pride. The Zitharans had demanded surrender or death. Humanity had chosen a third option, victory, and they'd announced that choice with nothing more than a laughing emoji and the will to back it up. Sometimes, the best response to an ultimatum wasn't diplomacy or submission. Sometimes, it was just pure defiant human audacity.